Hello everyone, and welcome to a special video where this time I will be discussing my love for Disney as I draw Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Um, I have not actually drawn a picture in years. I used to draw so much when I was a little kid, but really got out of it. Um, so yeah, I'll just be drawing while I discuss my love for Disney. Um, and I may be giving away this picture depending on how well it looks. Who knows? It may look like crap. I don't know. Um, but yeah. So anyway, my love for Disney actually started at a very young age. Probably I'd have to say when I was like 3 or 4. I actually, believe it or not, I was 3 when I first saw my very first movie in the cinema. My mom took me to go see the live action 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close, and so and I actually remember that release, and it was really awesome. And so that's how really my love for Disney um, started. I but ever since then, and also growing up when I was at daycare, that's all we would watch really is we'd watch, I remember we watched The Hunchback of Notre Dame. We'd watch The Little Mermaid. Actually, The Little Mermaid is a movie that we watched on repeat all the time because my childhood sweetheart, she loved The Little Mermaid. That was her favorite movie, and I actually remember one time when I was very young, um, when Little Mermaid 2 Return to the Sea came out on VHS, my dad actually got both her and I the the VHS. And like I said, as I talk about it, it's great to talk about it because memories are starting to flood back. With anything Disney. And I actually went to Disney World when I was 6 or 7. However, the funny thing about it was, even though I was obsessed with Disney, all I wanted to do was go back to the hotel and swim. I could care less about being at the park, but I think I was just way too young to really appreciate it and to understand that, hey, I'm at Disney. I should really be taking advantage of this. Um, so, um, but what was funny was when I went to Disney World, I experienced my first 4D. Um, I experienced my first 4D ride. It was the Bugs Life, and it was so awesome. And also, I went to Downtown Disney, and I made my own song. This is back when they had that. I don't know if they have that now. And then we we did the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and I was so busy looking around at what my parents were doing that I turned, and the pirate was staring me right in the face. I freaked out. It was so funny. But I um, I I don't know. I just loved that about my trip to Disney World. Um, and the funny thing also about Disney World is I would go and get all the autographs of all the characters, but the one autograph that I refused to get was Captain Hook. I don't know why, but I would just not go to get his autograph. I was terrified of him, which was funny because Peter Pan. I was about to say Beauty and the Beast, but Peter Pan is actually one of my favorite Disney movies. And because I used to watch that all the time as a kid. I used to watch all the Disney movies all the time as a kid, but I really watched Peter Pan all the time. But anyways, I love Captain Hook. I actually idolized Captain Hook as a kid, and my dad was trying to get me to go get his autograph, and I refused. I was just terrified. So he had to go get it for me. But what my favorite, let me get into what my favorite Disney movie is and why. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite, is my number one favorite Disney. I'll go down the list since we have time. One second. But the reason why Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie is because of the quote in the movie, for who could ever learn to love a beast. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to turn out at all. And it's looking, Jack's head's looking more like an alien. You know, so when the prince, yeah, this is looking like an alien. That's because I drew the head too long. Oh well, it'll be interesting. So look, this is what I have so far. Like I said, I haven't drawn anything in years, so. But anyways, back to what I was saying was, I always saw myself as the Beast growing up, and I think it was because I was always like angry. I was so angry growing up. I had a really bad anger issue, and you know, I would. Well, I'm not gonna get into it because you don't need to know my past with anger, but let's just say it wasn't pretty. But what I do want to say about Beauty and the Beast is that not only was that quote my reason why I liked it, but it's just the music, you know. Out of all the Disney music, like the music soundtracks, I think my favorite are Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, and Aladdin. Like I said, I love a lot of the movie soundtracks, but those four are my absolute favorites, with Peter Pan and Pinocchio coming in fourth and fifth place. And yeah, that was too short. No, it's not actually. Okay. But so why The Lion King is my favorite. Okay, let me go back to, because I'm starting to jump all over the place. Beauty and the Beast. So, you know, it didn't really hit me, the message of the movie, until like a couple years ago. I mean, it's always been my favorite movie, but it didn't really start resonating with me until a couple years ago, when I really started, you know, when I really was getting to the high point of my anger. But then it's been downhill for a while now. So, and I haven't had an anger issue in a long time, and I'm so thankful for that. But sorry, I'm gonna have to. I'm using a picture off of my old phone, so. Anyways, so it just, you know, the opening scene when the prince turned away the old beggar woman at the door. You know, I will honestly say that if I was to be where I was at then now, I'd be just like him, and I wouldn't care about anybody else but myself, because that's how I was for the longest time. And I'd just be a miserable old grouch, and nobody would want to be around me. I didn't even want to be around me. It got to that point where I didn't want to be around me. But that's why I just love the movie so much, because, you know, the Beast thought he wasn't lovable. That's why he hid himself in his castle and lost all hope. But Belle saw right through that. And to me, and this goes to my faith of why, so you see, when it comes to movies and why I love movies so much, is because I like to relate movies to the Christian walk and to my faith and everything. And Belle's love for the Beast, to me, resonated with God's love for us, that Belle saw behind the anger. Belle saw that there was something more. With the, of course, ironically, there's a song called Something More, and the Beast says there's something sweet, and I don't sing very well, but I'm gonna try and sing a little bit to this, so don't take this too seriously. There's something. Wait. She glanced this way. I thought I saw. And when we touched, she didn't shudder at my paw. No, it can't be. I'll just ignore. But then she never looked at me that way before. And then Belle sings, "New." Wait, I'm not gonna sing her part because I don't want to. She says, "New and a bit alarming. Who'd have ever thought that this could be true? That he's no Prince Charming, but you won't." Wait, I don't. See, I just led right into the opening song, Belle. I don't know why. But anyways, like I said, she saw right through that, and of course, at first the Beast was like, he didn't want to accept that anybody could love him. That's why, for who could ever learn to love a beast. But eventually he let his guard down and allowed allowed himself to be loved and for him to love. And so it's just a great redemptive story, in my opinion. And I absolutely loved the 2017 remake with Emma Watson and Luke Evans. I just loved the remake because I thought it added more to the story, in my opinion, and it explains so much that the classic left out. Which, of course, back then, kids attention spans were not that long, so they had to keep the movies to about 70 to 80 minutes long each. But so now, The Lion King. I love The Lion King. I went to go see the Broadway musical back in May, which I have discussed in a previous video. I have the trilogy on Blu-ray. I have the soundtracks. I had the game, the Game Boy Color, game, and I've seen the movie over probably, and this is not exaggeration, probably over 1,000 times in my whole life. And I cannot wait for the 2019 remake. Like I said, there's some things that I have an issue with, but I'm putting those aside because there's more pros that outweigh the cons in this instance. But I love the music, like I said. My favorite song in The Lion King, my favorite song is Can You Feel the Love Tonight? No, it's Be Prepared, then Can You Feel the Love Tonight? But my favorite score is King of Pride Rock, when the rain's falling and Simba after the final battle, and he walks up to Rafiki, and Rafiki says, "It is time." And then he walks up and yeah, that's just so powerful. And when I watched the Broadway, I literally, from the opening, that I had chills up and down my spine. I literally was sitting and I had chills and I just sobbed. Like the whole time I was sobbing. I didn't want the play to end. It was so magical. So that's why I love The Lion King, like I said, because there's a scene in the film when Simba's contemplating going back to Pride Rock to confront his Uncle Scar, and Rafiki says, "Your father is still alive," and Simba doesn't believe him, but Rafiki shows that he is alive in him, and then that's when the most powerful scene, in my opinion, comes, and Mufasa appears in the sky, and he says to Simba, "Simba, you have forgotten me." And Simba's like, no, how could I? He's like, and then Mufasa says something that God actually told me one time, and he says, "You have forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become." And he says, "You are my son, and the one true king." He says that before. He says, "You are my son, and the one true king. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life." So that basically, every time that I would fall away from God, that um, that scene would play in my head as if God were saying that to me. Not that he was saying like you are the one true king, but he was saying you are my son. You belong to me, and you have forgotten that. And so that movie just has a very special place in my heart as well. Besides that, like I said, Disney, and that's the thing of growing up. I did not, um, I was not the best at making friends because I always talked about movies. I remember when I was in second grade, we had show and tell, and I would always bring a movie to class. That's all I would bring is movies. But thankfully, in sixth grade, my favorite teacher of all time, Mrs. Veach, loved movies as well, and so that's the thing that her and I had in common. We would always discuss movies um, when we weren't doing class, and I'm thankful now that I'm still friends with her on Facebook, and her and I love discussing movies still. Um, so I'm thankful for that. But Disney has always been there, and it's something that's helped get me through life. Um, but trying to, sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts through while I draw this. But hey, it's looking a little better, I guess, in a sense. Um, I think I'm just gonna draw Jack because I thought I'd be able to discuss more, but I am running out of things to say, and I'm sorry about that. Um, but I just don't want to, babble on and repeat things that I've already said. But I guess I could go through other movies that, you know, mean something to me as well, which I guess, and I never really thought about it, but The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, however you say it, people say it different ways, means a lot to me as well. And I think the reason why being is because, Quasimodo hated his appearance. And not really that I hated my appearance, but I hated myself. And I think I hated myself. Um, that's why. Okay. Okay, that's why. Sorry. Um, but I hated myself because I was not popular. I was not athletic. I was not anything that the other kids were. Like I said, I'm an oddball. I'm 24 years old. I'll be 25 in January, and I love Disney and I love Harry Potter. And whenever I tell people that, they're like, "You need to grow up," or blah blah blah. Blah. All the negative stuff that you hear. But I'm just like, you know what? God created me different with special likes and dislikes, just like He created everyone else with special likes and dislikes. And if people have a problem with that, then that's gonna be on them. But I'm not gonna try and conform to what people want me to like, or so. But I think I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm almost done. Um, this is shockingly better than I thought. Yeah. Um, but let oh, I have one more thing to say also about Disney. See one second while I finish this up. Yeah, so what I'll say about Disney is, if you ever see me around or anything, and odds are I'll probably be either talking about Harry Potter or seeing Disney. Um, but I basically, and my one of my friends was kind enough to buy me a hoodie, no, not a hoodie, but a sweater that I'll be getting soon. That says, I speak in Disney lyrics and Harry Potter quotes, which is me to the T. Um, but yeah. I also, like I said, here's another reason why I like Disney. And I think this is why a lot of people like Disney, is because you can't, when you could try. And if you can attempt this, then there's something wrong with you, in my opinion. But you cannot watch a Disney movie and not feel like a kid or not be taken back to when you were a kid. I will always be a kid. That's why I love Tarzan. I was actually Tarzan for for Halloween one year. I actually was a lot of Disney characters. I was Mushu when I was 5. I was Tarzan when I was 7. Um, and I was Peter Pan one year too. Oh, and I was Woody. Because I love Toy Story as well. Um, and I cannot wait for Toy Story 4 to come out. Oh yeah, that's what I can talk about. Now I got a good topic, so we don't have to really end this until I finish this. Discussing all the upcoming Disney remakes and spin-offs. So the ones that I'm looking forward to the most are Night on Bald Mountain, which is, if you don't know what Night on Bald Mountain is, it is the segment that was from the first Fantasia movie at the very end with Chernabog, because Chernabog is my favorite Disney villain of all time, and I've always wanted them to do a live action. So it's basically going to be like the Maleficent movie, but that's my number one favorite, most anticipated Disney remake. And then, of course, next will be The Lion King, and then Aladdin, and Dumbo, which we're all getting next year. And then I can't wait for Peter Pan, because I'm really, 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 really hoping that they get Tom Holland to play Peter Pan, because he just, when I hear Tom Holland, it just screams Peter Pan. But and then, of course, we're getting a Rose Red movie, who is the sister of Snow White, and I guess the story is going to be a midquel, that it's going to take place right after Snow White eats the poisonous apple, or bites the poisonous apple. And also, we're going to get a Snow White and the Seven Dwarf reboot. We're also getting the Jungle Book 2. We're getting Genies, which is a spin-off with just how the genie got into the lamp. We're getting a Lady and the Tramp reboot. We're getting a Lilo and Stitch reboot. We're getting there's 20 total. We're getting a lot. We're getting a lot. But like I said, I'm just thankful, because I want all. And a lot of people have a lot of problems with the remakes and reboots, and I'm just like, you know what? Just enjoy them. Just be glad we're getting reboots. It's like your childhood is being restored. Don't be a grump. Just enjoy it. But yeah, like I said, Disney is Disney doesn't mean as much as to me as Harry Potter, but it's up there with it. But I think I'm pretty much done with my drawing. Like I said, it's not the greatest because I'm not a professional, but there it is. I hope you like it. Like, it's just the head. Let me try this. The head's just too. It's just like too. I needs to be more. So let me see what I need to do. That's what I can try. Oh, and this needs to be not so much of a divot. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Okay, this is why. No, that's even worse. It's as if Jack Skellington came from outer space. But yeah. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, guys. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought, and let me know in the comment section below what you want me to do in future videos, and hit that subscribe button to see future fandom content. Like I said, I love Disney. I'm going to say it again because I sound like a broken record now, but I love Disney. Always have, always will. Also, if you are major Disney nerd like I am, check out the Kingdom Keeper series by Riley Pearson. That just fell. This is book 7, The Insider. It's so magical. It's great for any Disney fans. Like I said, subscribe to see future content. And again, here is my alien Jack. That's what I'm going to call him. He's my alien Jack. And I will catch you guys next time. Thank you and good night.